Welcome back to the Ref Show. It's part two. Bobby Madley might have been thinking in the first part that he escaped. Actually, he did escape. This was in Hull's 2-0 victory over Watford. Hull with 10 men. It was 0-0 when they had a man sent off, Umar Niassi. And whichever way you look at it, from whichever angle, there's no offence really there whatsoever, really, is there?
I mean, listen, I'm a great fan of Bobby Madley. I think he's had a good season. I like the way he referees the games, his demeanour, the way he talks to the players, the way he smiles and he laughs with the players, and he gives the game a chance. And he doesn't generally issue cheap yellow cards. But on Saturday, I have to say, I find it very, very difficult to see where there's a reckless challenge, or even a reckless challenge that's with excessive force endangering the player's safety. I can only think that perhaps last week's game, Man United Chelsea, where the challenge from Cahill on Fellaini is at the back of his mind, thinking, I should have sent him off. This was perhaps, I'm not going to take any chances. He may have received some criticism in his assessment for it, so he's most probably not going to take any chances. Yeah. So he gets the red card out, but he got it out. Quickly. I didn't think it was a yellow card.
No, he's right in front of it too. He couldn't have been better placed.
He was in a great position. All I can think of is his recognition wasn't what it should have been.
There's only Bobby can answer that.
Yeah, it's only Bobby.
What he's seen at the time. Maybe looking back at it, he'd probably change that decision.
I mean, I know Hull City are appealing that send off, and I think they've got a good chance of winning it, as long as they prove that Bobby's made an obvious error, which clearly he has, hasn't he?
You may know the outcome of that by the time you watch the Ref Show. Talk about positioning with Roger East's game in a moment. This was West Ham 0, Everton 0, but just briefly first, Graham Scott was in charge of an emphatic victory for Bournemouth, 4-0 against Middlesbrough, and there was the fastest sending off in 3 years in the Premier League in that game. I think it was on 20 minutes, in fact. Gaston Ramirez. 2 yellow cards, correct? For you?
The first one for me, that
diving.
Was simulation. I think that was very poor. That's where I think the Scottish FA come in. Even though he's got a caution, he should be banned for suspended for 2 games for that. I'll be interested to get Hirst's take on this, because we've just spoken about in the first part about the penalty for Chelsea. Now, the second challenge, excuse me, when you go to ground like that, you run the risk, okay? Yeah. I know there was most probably no contact, so you could say, hang on, did the Bournemouth player get him sent off? Now, I wouldn't disagree with Graham Scott, but I just think a more experienced referee would have then just gone over, pulled Ramirez to one side and just told him in no uncertain terms, that's enough, any more and you're going, because you can see there was no contact, but I think the way he slides in, because Graham Scott's not experienced, he's under pressure because he's not getting many games at that level.
He is experienced, but not at that level.
Not at that level. He's not experienced at the Premier League. He doesn't get many games, so he's not going to take any chances. I like his take.
To be fair, we mentioned it in the first part of players staying on their feet, going down, using the rules to their advantage. And he sees the tackle coming. He knows what the outcome's going to be. Not necessarily another yellow, but he knows he's going to get the free kick. Yeah. Whatever, you know what I mean? It's going to be a foul. Yeah. So that's how they use it. Can I just
come in there?
Yeah, sure.
You've made a mistake there. It's a yellow card. It's the laws, not the
rules. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how the player would perceive it.
I have this in the pub. I used to have this in the pub years ago with a friend of mine. If I mention rules, it's not rules, it's laws. Well, it is, but it's the same thing, really. Let's move on with Roger East. West Ham 0, Everton 0. We've not had a lot of discussion about grappling in recent weeks on the Ref Show, which is a great thing, actually. But here we have James Collins shirt pulling at a late Everton corner. It could and should have been a penalty. Why wasn't it then? Roger East is in the middle for this.
Well, I mean, I looked at the incident, and I look at Roger East's positioning. He's in a great position. He's in a fantastic position to see everything. But where he makes the mistake is he's ball watching. So as a referee, okay, it's about reading the game. And
sorry. I was just thinking he was ball. I wasn't at the game, and I knew it was pulling his shirt off. But without even seeing the game, you could see that it was. But he had hold of his shirt for 5 minutes.
Well, he did. But what Roger's doing, he's looking at the taking of the corner. Yeah. So he's waiting for him to play the ball. So he's not focused on the next phase of play. So why is he watching for the corner? Why is he watching the ball come over? Your most important area to watch is in that dropping zone. And that's why he missed it, because he was watching the taking of the corner and there was no need to.
Well,
he
the ball flight is irrelevant.
Well, that's right.
It's what's happening in the box, exactly.
When does the football commit an offence?
Exactly, yeah.
It doesn't, does it? So why is he watching the ball? Well, you can clearly see him watching the ball. He's going,
but I mean,
like that.
even that, Mark, I mean, whether he sees the kick, he's still got to be glancing across. And the kid's got his shirt, like I say. It's not as though it's a quick tugging away. No. But he's got hold of him for the length of the 6-yard box.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, Hursty. He doesn't need to watch them. Because there's no one. There's going to be no foul. The ball don't commit offence, as I said. You're watching there. You just say, OK, player, away we go. And you're there.
And see, and look at what's going on in the box.
It's a pity for the referee, because there had been no major incident. No, he could have come off. It was a game that everybody would have forgotten, 0-0. And
but everybody coming away from the game, anybody who's seen the game, everybody's going to talk about that incident.
Because nothing else happened.
That's all he could have got right, to be fair.
It's the only thing that we can talk about. And ball watching, similarly, players get accused of that, defenders, don't they, when they're not marking at a corner or whatever.
But once again, he made a great point in the first half. It's all about coaching.
The coaching, and like you say, he looks at it, and what Mark's just said, why are you watching the ball when you should be watching the players?
Let's move on to the Championship and to the events in Scotland, and we're going to talk about El Clasico as well. I saw Andy Davis. I don't know what your opinion of this referee, maybe up and coming. Huddersfield 1, Fulham 4. He confidently gave 2 penalties, 1 to each side early on in that game, which is a sign of confidence.
I think he's an up-and-coming referee in the select group too. So long may it continue. We need to push these young referees in the Championship, because we are struggling in select group 1 for referees.
Simon Hooper had an uneventful game. You wouldn't expect that in a Birmingham derby. Quite tame, apparently. Very poor. Aston Villa 1, Birmingham 0. Crikey, there were only 3 yellow cards in that. Simon Hooper.
Last time I refereed, I had 2 reds and about 6
Even
yellows.
You don't take your cards on the field.
I remember the days when that was a good thing. There was only 3. What we're trying to say here.
Well,
we need more yellow cards. Is that what?
No, I'm just saying.
No, we don't. We're getting too many.
It was very, very tame. Never tame in Scotland when Celtic and Rangers meet. They meet so many times as well. This is Scottish Cup semi-final. Celtic through to face Aberdeen in the final. They won 2-0 against Rangers. Willie Collum is the referee. Well, really, you might have seen it on Twitter, social media. Andy Halliday of Rangers on Paddy Roberts. What a horrific challenge that was.
Well,
the outcome could have been horrific, but wasn't.
Well, I think what saved him was the way...
only a yellow card. The
way Paddy Roberts just got up from this, it was like you described it, and just gets on with it. I think that's what saved him, but even though that doesn't make it right, and I think Willie Collum should have just... I mean, I think what he was doing, he was...
It was reckless, without a doubt.
With excessive
force.
He was managing the occasion. He wasn't managing a football match. And I think when he looks back at that, I think he wished he'd sent him off.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I say, the outcome wasn't bad. It wasn't nasty. Paddy got up and got on with the game. Okay, he's had a big kick in the game. You got to say, well, do we need the sendings off? If that's honest and true, the players have accepted it. I know it's forceful. I understand that. Yeah, it probably is a red. But at the outcome, we're talking about it.
So if he goes off injured, doesn't take any further part in the game, then
but I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it now that he got up and he wasn't injured.
Yeah, but the outcome doesn't matter, does it?
The outcome doesn't matter. Yeah. It was a challenge that endangered the player's safety with excessive force and brutality. The law is the law.
Laws.
Yeah.
Laws.
There are some.
They work one week and then not the next.
Hursty, there are some situations in a game that you can manage, and challenges like that you cannot manage.
All right. Well, let's just manage.
It's been managed.
I'm going to try and manage this. I'm going to try and manage this show, which is very difficult sometimes. These two are just brilliant, taking it away this week. El Clasico, okay. Real Madrid 2, Barcelona 3. Fantastic. Lionel Messi. I'll ask Kirsty in a minute what it's like to score 500 goals for a club, as in Barcelona. First of all,
you're asking the wrong person. 500 goals. What?
I'll ask you then. I'll ask
500 goals. So
for Barcelona.
So that's training as well, is it? Yeah, training goals, 5-a-sides.
No.
It's shooting practice. That's the only way I could get anywhere near 500.
I'll let 500 in.
Do you reckon he's got a future, do you?
I mean, I think once he learns a bit more about the game, he's got a real good chance of making it, this lad, yeah. No, I mean, it's phenomenal, isn't it? 500 goals for Barcelona. In 12 years, I believe, 12 years.
The other big stat, Sergio Ramos sent off for, guess what, 22nd time in his career.
Well,
sent off.
If I was his manager, I would be giving him a right dressing down, because I believe he lost them that game last night with that challenge.
It's not the first time, and I'm sure while ever he's at the club, it'll not be the last, because, as we know, he has a tendency, as his record suggests.
I thought the refereed the game very well.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's finish with that just briefly. Alejandro Hernandez is the referee. A wonderful quote, just pre-match from him. He says, when you talk about a striker, it's about the number of goals he's scored, not the ones he's missed. It should be the same for referees. The referees get far more right than they do wrong.
Very
so there
good
you go.
statement.
I'll
accept that. Definitely.
And to be fair, no one. You go into games like that, and you want to come out unscathed. And like you said, no one was talking about him. No. Everyone was talking about the brilliance of Messi and the challenge of Ramos, and that's what you want.
Yeah, we carry on talking ad infinitum about the wonderful goals that David Hirst scored. I'm not sure if it was 500, but nevertheless, he scored some great ones. Messi should watch the video showcase of Mr. Hirst. Thanks ever so much for your company. It's been brilliant. See you for another Ref Show next week. Cheers. Bye.